and welcome to Hot Money on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is the show which gets you a complete wrap of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. I am Darshan Mehta. Let's welcome our experts then. Technical analyst N.S. Vidai, Brijesh Bhatia of Deal Money Securities and Shrikant Chauhan of Kotak Securities join me on the show. Thank you to all of my guests for joining me. Let's begin with the first chart from our analyst. N.S. Vidai has a chart on Strides. Shasun, we'll get the chart up. N.S., what's the indicator that you've used and why are you positive on Strides?
Well, if you see, it has given a breakout of a very, very long-term trend line. This green trend line, it is a huge long-term trend line. Plus, if you see, the chart is has crossed about 200 DEMA. And other than that, it has also given a crossover above a major resistance, which it was for almost you can say from last 1 year, it was not able to cross this area. And first time it has crossed about 200 DEMA also after a very, very long time. And can we have another chart so I can show you there is a huge so this is a bit shorter term chart. Now if you see this, it has given a breakout very strongly. There were good volumes also at the time of breakout. And I believe the stock has a potential to go up to 650 approximately minimum, because that is the size of the trough, this cup and handle trough. So basically that's the size of the this stock. I would prefer to buy on dips seriously, and up to 515.
515.
Yeah, and even you can buy right now and keep on have a provision to add more on dips.
What's the strict stop loss if someone is taking the cue?
I would say 494 should be the stop loss.
494, and you see the counter going above 600.
So the risk reward is very in favor. It's
okay,
huge.
So it's a positive view that's coming in on Strides Pharma. Thank you so much for that, N.S. Shrikant, I'll come to you. What's your view on Strides?
Darshan, it really looks good because the way the stock has formed its bottom since May 2018, the stock was under a lot of pressure, but later on we saw that there is higher bottom sort of formation, and finally the stock has managed to sustain well above the mark of 500, which is psychological level for it, and which was selling area in the past, in the previous year. So yes, we are expecting stock to move ahead.
Okay, what about you, Brijesh? What's your view?
Yeah, I would also go with on the long side, because if you look at the stock, it has given positive about 200 days since July 2017. So after a long time, it is moving above. If you look at the volume, also it's giving a good accumulation and breakout. So price volume breakout is also visible. I think with the stop loss of 509, one can look at target of 625 on the upside. Maybe 6 to 8 weeks. It would take time.
Okay, so it's a consensus bullish call that's coming in on the first stock, that is Strides Pharma. Let's take a look at the next one, and Brijesh has a sell call on Maruti. Let's pull up the chart. Brijesh, what's the indicator you've used? MACD. Explain this chart and why are you bearish on Maruti?
Okay, so first, if you look at the trend, price has given a death cross, which means that 50 days average, exponential average, has moved below the 200 days average. So here the trend is clearly defined that it has been in the bearish momentum. Okay, now if you look at the this formation, it has been clearly visible that head and shoulder breakdown is there, which is another bearish pattern. Price failing to cross above the again the 200 average. And if you look at the now over here, MACD, the negative crossover is given over here below the zero line, integer line. Okay, yeah, this one. Okay, so it's clearly trending. Histogram also is gaining momentum on the downside now. So if you look at the price with breakdowns, and if you look at the already trend is in the bearish, with adding MACD adding the flavor to the momentum now, I think one can keep a target of around the height of this head and shoulder, which is around 6400. So 6450 would be the target, and one can look for sell opportunity here.
Okay, so should they sell now? Should they wait for a rise on sell? What's the strategy that they should?
One can sell at current level also, and on rise to around 7120, 7130, and keep a stop loss of about this bearish candle, which was around 7380. So I have taken a 7400 as a level, and target of around 6450 on the downside.
So if 7000 breaks, will the fall be much steeper for?
Yeah, because it could act as psychological level, and if you look at the derivative structure, it has been slightly holding 7000 puts are holding the OIs. So I think below that some unwinding would again add some fuel to the momentum.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Brijesh. NS, are you bearish on Maruti?
Yeah, absolutely agree with Brijesh. The way the stock has fallen, it has it is a clear-cut head and shoulder formation, and it can go down up to 6750 and 6400 also. So absolutely bang on with him.
Okay, what about you, Shrikant? Maruti, what's your view?
Yeah, it looks like that we may see furthermore weakness in the near term, because the way the stock has broken its neckline support area, The next level to watch out for is between 7,000, 7,020, which is psychological level for it. But below that, certainly we can see the levels of 6,800, where the stock has left a bullish gap when there was like a sudden bounce back. So we are expecting maximum 6,750, 6,800 on the downside. But my view is that the way the stock recovered from its low, and now the way there are like fundamentals, like crude prices have fallen, currency has also appreciated, where it was at 74.50 when the stock was around 6,500 levels. So I'm of the view that in case if we see the stock is somewhere around 6,700, 6,800 levels, then there one should look for adding with a long-term view.
Okay, so
at
that's
this price, certainly it's a sell.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. I think it's a consensus sell at this price, at least. It's a consensus sell that's coming in on Maruti. Let's move on to the third stock, and Shrikant has a chart on Praj Industries. Shrikant, if you can join me and explain the rationale behind the buy call that you've given.
Yeah, see, for Praj Industry, the logic is that the stock has spent a lot of time below its important resistance area of 120. So it's a multi-year breakout.
Okay.
You can see that from 2009 to almost 2019, the stock has spent time between 120 and 30 levels. In this month, we saw a good amount of like volume expansion as well as price expansion. Along with that, we saw closing above this 120 mark. So it is certainly it's a bullish pattern. Even if you see its broader pattern, then it's a classic inverse head and shoulder sort of formation. So one thing is very clear that the stock is into long-term breakout and it is heading for the levels of at least 170, 175 in the near term. So on immediate basis, we are expecting 150, 170, but in the long run, we are expecting stock to retake its previous highs of 250.
250.
So with a stop loss at 120, which is its support area now, earlier it was resistance, that should act as a very good support for it. So 120 should be the stop loss for buying, for initiating.
Is it more like a positional call? Should people buy on dips, or is it like you should go all in at this price?
Yeah, it's a positional call. It's a mid-cap stock, so it's a positional call. Currently, it is at 135. At this price also one can buy. If there is any correction, one should look for adding some more. But it's a classic buy because if you remember the pattern of Reliance, the stock Reliance has also broken its upward resistance after almost 9-10 years of time. And after that, we saw very strong activity in the stock. So it's a classic buy.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Praj. Ines, initially in one of the shows, you were rather bullish on Praj.
I still am bullish on.
Do you still maintain that bullish stance?
Yeah, and you can raise the stop loss to 120-ish. Okay, and if the traders are there, they can keep a stop loss at 128 and go long right now also, for a target of around 155, 165.
Okay, so bullish call. What about you, Brijesh?
Yeah, I am also very much bullish on this chart because if you look at the monthly chart, is giving price volume breakout, and I think best buy would be around 127, 128, where it has taken a good support zone before rallying. So retest could be, I think 127, 128 could be a good long with 115 as a stop loss.
Okay, so it's a consensus buy call that's coming in on Praj Industries, been a marked outperformer, at least as far as the past few weeks are concerned. Let's move on to the second round of charts. Fidai has a call this time on SBI. Let's see what the charts are suggesting. Fidai, is it a buy call that you're giving?
Yeah, it is a buy call on SBI. SBI has taken strong support on three parameters. One is this 50 DEMA, that is the green line, okay, and the other one is like it is taking support on this multiple bottoms. Right now it has taken exactly support at that. Yesterday it closed, it did dip and tested this, and today also it tested and still sustaining above that. And overall the stock looks like there could be a bounce from here because it's a higher top higher bottom formation. The stock is in a very good momentum actually, and we can expect the stock to go up to at least 308 from here.
Okay,
and on the downside you can keep a stop loss just below 284. So just below this, means the risk reward is very favorable. And seriously, it's an extreme short-term trade. It can happen in 1 or 2 weeks probably.
Okay, thanks for that extremely short-term trade. Brijesh, would you buy SBI?
Yeah, definitely with the stop loss of around 286, and I think 305 would be the target I am looking at on the upside.
Okay, Shrikant, will it make it 3 and 3, or are you having a different view?
Like currently, certainly the stock is very close to its important support area, and the stop loss that Mr. Bidai has given, I think with the same stop loss, certainly one should look for adding State Bank to a trading portfolio. Okay,
so it's a consensus buy call that's coming in on State Bank of India. Brijesh now has a chart and he's recommending Castrol India. Let's pull up the chart and see what exactly it is. Why are you recommending Castrol, Brijesh?
Okay, looking from here, then if you look at the momentum, price was taking a clear-cut horizontal trend line, and if you look at the trend line, price have taken the support at the longer term. Now, if you look at the trend, it was falling in the ups and downs. So, if you look at the channel, the multiple supports are visible at horizontal trend line plus channel. Okay, now if you look at the MACD over here, okay, so weekly MACD as histogram is already turned positive. Average is also moving above. Now above the zero line. So it's clearly indicating with the price momentum gaining above the support zone and price bouncing above 160, 166. So I think I'm targeting price momentum towards again to 195, 200 levels on the upside upon the resistance line of the channel.
What's the stop loss?
I think one can keep a stop loss of just below these breakout was around 159. So I keep a stop loss of 155 on the downside and look at target of 195 on the upside.
Okay, so it's a potential long call that's coming in on Castrol. Thank you so much for that, Brijesh. Shrikant, what's your view on Castrol?
See, generally I don't prefer such stocks because they have taken a lot of time. And if you go through with its overall pattern, certainly the stock has taken a lot of time and still the stock is below its breakout level. But yes, in the very short term, it's a buy because the stock has formed some bullish flag formation on daily basis. So we can expect close to 173, 175 kind of levels. And today the stock has formed some reversal formation. So today's low, 163, should be final stop loss for any long position.
Okay, what about you, NS? What's your view on Castrol?
I agree absolutely, and you can keep a stop loss at around 158 and go long here. And on the upside, if it gives a breakout above 171, 172, it can easily achieve Brijesh's target of 190, 200 rupees.
Okay, so that's a call that's coming in on Castrol India. The last call, at least from our experts, and then Yash will probably come in, is on Godfrey Phillips, and Shrikant is here to explain this chart, why he is bullish on the counter. Yeah.
See, Darshan, this particular stock, Godfrey, has formed falling wedge formation.
Okay.
It's a classic falling wedge formation because again here the stock has taken a lot of time. From 2016 September, the stock has spent a lot of time between this particular consolidation, and after very contracting price at 850, 900 levels, it has broken the upward barrier. So whenever there is a falling wedge sort of formation, it's a bullish consolidation formation, it's a bullish pattern, and it gives reversal formation also when it breaks on the upward side. So it has broken on the upward side. If you can see, the volumes are also increasing when there is expansion of volume, when there is a price breakout. Even if you go through with its past history, then whenever there was decline in the stock, we saw good amount of jump in volume. So one thing is very clear that the stock is moving towards its next resistance level of 1000 and 1080. So on immediate basis, we are expecting 1000, 1080 as targets. It's a positional buy with a stop loss below 885.
Okay, that's the call that's coming in. What are these two red lines, if you can explain?
These are two resistance levels.
According to you, these will be the resistance levels.
And these are the resistance, and we are expecting these levels to achieve. I think in this month only the stock has moved to 995, 996 levels. But we are again expecting stock to move towards same levels. Even if you go through with the price pattern of ITC, then there also we are seeing a lot of bullish implications. There also we are seeing cup with handle sort of formation, and the stock can move to 320.
Okay, so it's a bullish call coming in. Thank you so much for that, Shrikant. NS, what's your view on Godfrey? 967, what should one do?
Yeah, I would buy this only above 1010 because that would be a momentum buy, and the stock can jump up to 1080 or even 1170 also. So on the upside, if it gives a breakout, I would be a bullish.
Okay, what about you, Brijesh?
So I would stay cautious at current level, because if you look at the monthly chart, last 3-4 months we have witnessing clear cut the bearish volumes are much higher than the bullish volume. So I think 1020, which was the previous resistance zone, let it cross above those zones, then could be a clear cut buy.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on our last stock, Godfrey. Shrikant is rather bullish on it, but the other two guests believe that once the momentum picks up and the counter goes above the 1000, 1020 level, that is where they would take entry into the counter. So those are the six stocks that our experts discussed. And before we end the show, we'll get in Yash Upadhyay. Yash, good afternoon. which is the stock that you want to speak about?
Afternoon, Darshan. I'll talk about Tech Mahindra, and the call is yet to happen on the charts, but it is within 1% of the trender line. The stock is Tech Mahindra, and we're looking at the proprietary trender indicator now. This over here is the red line. This is at the mark of 719. The stock is currently trading at 723. Over the last 4 trading sessions, the stock has been on an up move, and today on the back of heavy volumes, 15% higher than the 20-day average, the stock is up close to 1.5%. Should it manage to close above the trender line, that is the mark of 719, the trender will flip its color from red to green, and we could expect the next leg of rally for Tech Mahindra from here.
Okay, and what's the, if you do a plotting of historically every time the color changed, how much average returns would you make?
So Darshan, it has a 80% success ratio. So 8 out of the last 10 times that it has flipped its color to from red to green, it would have given you positive returns of close to 4.5% over the next 10 trading sessions.
Okay, so that's quite a bit as far as, thank you so much for that, Yash. NS, Tech Mahindra, it's more of a...
it's consolidating for some like last 3 months, and like it needs to cross around 730, 732. Once it does that, probably it can go all the way up to 780ish also. So yes, I would be bullish if it crosses 732. 732.
Okay, what about you?
I would go long at current level also, because if you look at the momentum, it is clearly indicated volumes are about to break the price out of the triangles now. So I think yes, 762 is the target. So I'm looking at on the upside.
Okay, Shrikant, what's your in Tech Mahindra?
Yeah, we are also like bullish on it because on monthly basis, if you see, it's a classic rounding bottom sort of formation, and it is very close to its breakout level. So it is still below the breakout level, but the way there is formation and the way there is like activity in Wipro, TCS, Infosys, I think this stock is certainly going to cross its previous high.
Okay, so those are the stocks that we discussed, and before we end, obviously the view of the market and the Nifty, which we want to ask our guests. NS, we hit 11,000 in the futures a few days ago. Will the spot hit 11,000 as far as in this series?
Doubtful. Again, last week also I had said doubtful. I still believe it's doubtful for this week also.
Any reason why you say?
Seriously, like there is lots of like there are draggers more than stocks that are supporting the index. That is the reason.
Okay, Brijesh, what about you?
I think we are ending expiry around 11,100, 150 on the upside. So
okay, so you're quite bullish on this. Shrikant, what's your view?
Yeah, the same view. I think the stock Nifty is very close to its breakout level, and one or another stock is managing to come up. Like today, ICICI Bank, Hindustan Lever, they are doing well. Some few days back, it was Reliance and a few other banks. So one thing is very clear, that one or another stock is helping market to move higher, and there is like a lot of pessimism that we are seeing. India VIX is trading at 18, PCR is at 1.2, so it clearly shows that downside is protected.
Okay.
So it's not that the markets are not going to fall, but markets are going to spend sideways activity, and then later on we are going to see some positive breakout.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in. 2:1 in favor of 11,000 coming in as far as this series is concerned. But with that, it's a wrap on today's edition of Hot Money. Vidya, Brijesh, Shrikant, thank you so much for coming in today with and helping all our viewers with all the technical picks that they need to watch out for. Ask BQ comes up next. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.